गुड मॉर्निंग जेंटलमैन। बहुत अच्छा मौसम है। बट द टॉपिक विच आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक टू यू इज नॉट बहुत अच्छा. It's not a very good topic I'm going to talk upon you, because you will not, at least some of them will not like what I'm going to say. And they are basically the unbucks, of the BJP, who will not like what I'm going to say. But unfortunately, truth is always bitter, and we must realize where India is heading. If we love India, all of us, then we must see the reality and what India should do. Now, the first thing which comes to my mind is the recent crisis which is in the Middle East. And here, I think the maximum number of workers who have been killed are Indians. Either they've been killed by Iran, by the Americans, by the Russians, because they have been firing on ships which were basically manned by Indians. Because India has a large market outside, and because why this is there? Because there are no jobs available in India. Now let's get to the root of the problem कि हिंदुस्तान में काम नहीं मिलता, and naturally everybody has to try to go abroad and work. मैं अभी कुछ information सुन देख रहा था, and I found that almost 5 lakhs Indians have been given visas to go abroad recently in the eastern countries like China and Vietnam and other places. And of course, why this happened? This happened because the visa issue to United States, Canada, England, and Australia has become very, very difficult. ये countries जो हैं, they don't want Indians. And एक रीज़न ये भी है कि and they are justified, क्योंकि the Indians who were going there were subverting the system of education and other visas, and then just vanishing there to go and do some other work, menial work even, and get more money. And why they are doing it? Why other countries people are not doing it? Why don't the Americans come to India to work? Because there is no work here. And this, I will tell you, is the reason why this Cockroach Janata Party agitation took place. ये आप रियलाइज करिए कि बेसिक प्रॉब्लम यही है. And the reason the paper leak is there was just, it's like a whistle being blown by this pressure cooker. And it's a very sad occurrence. Obviously, everything centered on Pradhan, who was the education minister, and he had to resign. It's something similar to what happened in 62 when India was defeated by China, where Nehru put all the blame on Krishna Menon and saved his skin. And here also, Narendra Modi saved himself by accepting the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan. I will not comment further on this, but I will comment on the various problems which are moving in India. First of all, there is a paucity of jobs outside these days. People from Indian origin are not being allowed to enter the United States, where a visa fee has been of $1 lakh has been put in for those who are going to work there. In addition, the Americans, Donald Trump has put a capitation fee on all the American companies who outsource their work to other countries. And a lot of them, were outsourcing work to India and they can't do it. So all this is happening is that people who were to go abroad from India are not able to go. They are stuck in India, and they are getting some openings in China and other places, but they are not that many as they would get in, say, Canada or United States and Australia. So net result ये हो रहा है कि there is a paucity of jobs outside और India में jobs नहीं है. Now this is the crucial question you must remember कि it's a sad occurrence to our system कि हम ज़्यादा stress देते हैं on things like caste reservations, language reservations, कि हिंदी पढ़नी चाहिए and treat English as a foreign language. We're wasting time on these things, and the crucial question is overlooked that you need jobs for the people, for the students. And now let me tell you that lakhs of students are going to pass out this year from the various colleges, engineering, medical, plain graduations, but there is no job for them. I will tell you of an incident. The railways is the largest employer of the, in India, largest employer, and they generate the maximum number of jobs. Any doubt about it? No. I think just after the COVID, the railways advertised for some jobs, and they had 63,000 vacancies available, and these were all low-class vacancies like sweepers, loaders, janitors, cleaners, etc. 63,000. And I will tell you how many have applied for it. You will be shocked. 19 million. 19 million people applied for 63,000 jobs. And you can see any part of our disciple, whether it's the IAS or the armed forces, there are maybe 4 to 500 jobs, and almost 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs students apply for it because it's a desperation. काम नहीं अवेलेबल एंड ये जो काम नहीं अवेलेबल है कौन रिस्पॉन्सिबल है इसके लिए आर द स्टूडेंट्स रिस्पॉन्सिबल तो फिर इनके लिए जो एक प्रेशर कुकर चलता है दे लुक फॉर सम means to revolt, and that is why this cockroach Janata Party started the agitation on the leak of the paper. The leak of the paper by itself is not such a big issue to merit such a big agitation, but the fact remains that when you have no jobs available, this is going to happen. And this has a repercussion all over the world. Repercussion all over the world is that the Indian government also is unable to project India as a great power. You can't be a great power where you have no jobs for your people. You can't be a great power when you're importing all your weapons. And India, just for information, is the biggest importer of weapons in the world. Millions of dollars of weapons we are importing from abroad because we don't make anything here ourselves. And most of the countries with whom we have trade, like any substantial trade, like China, where we have a trade of $150 billion, we are in the negative. We import $120 billion goods from China and we export only $30 billion. So आप समझ सकते हैं क्या हाल है इंडिया का ये. Now the question arises कि what is happening? When all this is going on, the Indian government complicates other things by trying to antagonize the United States. एक कहते हैं कि जो लीडर होता है he sees the writing on the wall and adjusts accordingly. और मेरे ख्याल में I feel very sorry when I tell you कि Narendra Modi never saw the writing on the wall and his finance minister talks nonsense. His foreign minister talks nonsense. He some time back was talking of some independence, strategic independence. मेरे ख्याल में इतना बेवकूफ़ आदमी नहीं होगा वर्ल्ड में who will talk of strategic independence in a situation in which India is neither a global power nor an economic power and where Indian people are literally struggling to get a job. And yet he talks of strategic independence because it's going to boomerang. And now I am told the American government has decided, rather Donald Trump has decided that he's going to put 100% duty on the Indians. Now, this is a very sad occurrence. And why are they doing it? They are doing it because India is buying Russian oil. Now, why could the Indian government stop buying Russian oil? And what have they gained out of it? I want to know. I want to ask the leadership at the center, what have they gained by buying Russian oil? India is totally ostracized, rather taken out of the peace process in the Middle East. पाकिस्तान और कतर आगे निकल गए हैं और इंडिया इज दी बाई स्टैंडर्ड जैसे जानवर साइड पे बोलते थे बेटे तुम यहाँ बैठे रहो इट्स समथिंग लाइक दैट वी आर नॉट एबल टू exert our influence even with so many of Indians being killed in the Strait of Hormuz. Where is the Indian Navy? Because here also there is a catch. When you want to exercise power, you must have the will to do it. Now you can see कि ईरान में क्या हो रहा है. डोनाल्ड ट्रंप जो है डजंट हैव द विल टू फाइट ईरान. तो क्या करते हैं वो He does some bombing for 15, 20 days and then calls a pause. And he says, I'm giving peace a chance so that the Iranians can recoup and decide and come down for negotiations. Or Iran repeatedly insults the United States, and still this is happening. I think tens of American soldiers have been killed now, airmen have been killed, and Iran has been attacking the American bases. And the best part is, despite the most, heavy bombing you can think of in the history, Iran has not surrendered. And not only that, the Strait of Hormuz is not controlled by the United States. So ये देखिए, this is, I'm just giving an example that you must have the will to act. And Americans now do not have the will to act in Iran because they tried it in Afghanistan, got defeated. They tried in Vietnam, they got defeated. They tried in Korea, and that was only a stalemate. And they had to remove their CNC, that is General Douglas MacArthur. He had to be removed by, I think, President Truman, and General Ridgway was brought in, and the battle ended. It was a stalemate. So, all over, this is what is happening, and now Donald Trump doesn't have the will to fight. And India also doesn't have the will to intervene anywhere. The will to fight and project Indian power is absent in the Indian leadership. You can just imagine Operation Sindoor started, and after 4 days, the Indians agreed for a ceasefire, despite Narendra Modi shouting in parliament that India has done it at the request of the Pakistan government or the Pakistan military. I don't take any cognization of it because in the background, it was Donald Trump who brought about the ceasefire. He put pressure on Pakistan, and Pakistan then approached for a ceasefire, and India agreed. Well, you say you have paused it. What is pause? It's got any relevance in the modern age? What is pause? Have you started the battle again? No. India will, and let me tell you, India will now not start the battle again with Pakistan, at least for some time, because the world is not going to allow it. So the will to fight is not there. And you know, after the Galwan crisis, the Indians were looking for ways and means to defuse the issue with China. Because even at that time, I think Chinese took a few hundred square miles of Indian territory. And Indian policy is totally haywire. They don't know what to do. And with the result is India has got bad relations with Bangladesh. Even Nepal doesn't say, yes, sir, three bags full. Neither is Lanka. Pakistan is an enemy. Burma is also not with you, and the Chinese are being made into an enemy. Let me tell you, when China became independent in 49, I don't think the Chinese were very antagonistic of India. They looked to India as a friend. But the border problem created all the problems. And then we had a man like Pandit Nehru, who really didn't know which way the wind was blowing. He had no idea of strategic dominance. He allowed the whole of Tibet to be gobbled by China. And I sometimes wonder what the hell was he doing there? At that time in 47, India had the most professional army in the whole of Asia. Japan had been destroyed. There was no other power. The Middle East, there was no power at all. And that was the time India should have intervened. But Nehru kept sitting on his haunches. And then as a result, you know what happened. India lost China, Tibet. And then we lost Aksai Chin of our own fault because we never dis- set up any administration there. Nothing, zero. And then India continued making maps, showing these areas as part of India. And Nehru went on record and said that he recognized that Tibet is a part of China. I mean, it's, once you agree to that, where is the question that you will now say that we don't recognize Tibet or something and we have a border with Tibet? You don't have a border with Tibet now, you have a border with China. And the 1913 Shimla conference, whatever was decided, is now zero, thanks to Pandit Nehru and even the Indian leadership which followed after that. So there was no plan at any stage to have a settlement with China. Mind you, the Russians and Chinese had a lot of border clashes, if you remember, in the 60s. Many Russians died, many Chinese died But then pragmatism took over. They had a bottle settlement, and India refused to have a border settlement. In 61, of course, uh, Premier Chamanlai came to Delhi and he wanted a border settlement. He gave some very valid proposals, which I've discussed earlier, but Nehru and Govind Ballabh Pant and Morarji Desai at that time said no. And now we are paying the price for that short sightedness. You see, India should not examine itself, imagine itself as a global power. It is not. I don't think it's a regional power because India has five wars with Pakistan and they haven't been able to win a decisive victory. The victory in Bangladesh is a Pyrrhic victory. It has got no meaning. Bangladesh is one of your enemies, and when the previous prime minister was there, Muhammad Yunus, he was an anti-Indian man and he was persecuting the Hindu minority there. So, gentlemen, there are so many things involved which I'm talking of, and talking basically of India. The Indian leadership committed the biggest mistake in 47 when they decided to have a secular state. I couldn't understand why it should be so. But now that's all over, and Modi has not been able to do anything so far. I mean, he has not been able to bring in even the personal civil law for everybody. I think India must be one of the few countries in the world which got a different civil law for the Muslims and different civil laws for the Hindus and others. How can you live a country in like that? And then I think you can live with it in India because you also have the caste divisions. And the caste divisions are the main reason so many students who are brilliant want to leave India and go away because they don't get admission. You have reserved 50% of the seats on the basis of caste. You have reserved 50% of the government jobs on the basis of caste. How can you have a merit-based economy or merit-based administrators when you are going to give jobs on the basis of caste? I don't think anybody realizes it. And then you have the division on language. So India faces myriad problems. I don't think India is on the road to being a great power, despite Yogi talking a lot in Singapore that we are a 3.5, 4.5 million economy and all that. We must remember that India is one of the poorest countries in the world. Its position stands, I think, 150 out of 193, and it's a very sad occurrence. The per capita income means they don't have enough food to eat, Indians, by and large, at least large sums of people. I can give you some statistics, but I don't have the time to give you statistics now. That how the wealth in India is concentrated in the hands of 10% of the population, and 90% of the population has lives on just subsistence. Who's going to change that? The caste system is going to change it. Is going to Modi going to change it by enforcing Hindi everywhere? I mean, we have to be very careful, and they should see the example of the United States floundering so badly in Iran. They don't know what the hell to do next. Donald Trump is doesn't know. I mean, he's totally confused. Well, gentlemen, I hope you like this video of mine. Please share it with your friends, like, and come back again. It's a pleasure talking to you. Goodbye and God bless. I hope you have a jolly good time and come back again and give your comments. Thank you. Goodbye.